In real estate, there are two kinds of prospecting. And if you're not doing both, you'll either burn out or go broke. In this video, I'm going to talk about short-term versus long-term prospecting and how to do both and why both are important. So make sure that you are tuned in because I want to make sure that you're not just doing what needs to be done today so that you can make money, but that you're balancing it out equally with what needs to be done to build generational wealth and long-term business sustainability. So tap the subscribe button, tune in, and let's get going. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheese at Cowan. I am the CEO of Real Estate. I help you run a business that funds, not run your life. If you've tuned into my channel, then you know that most of what I do is always about strategy. It's always about knowing exactly how to grow your business systematically so that you can build a business that is profitable right now and sets up the foundation for long-term success. So let's be very clear. There is a difference between short-term and long-term prospecting, and especially agents that are dual career, just starting out, or maybe are transitioning into real estate full-time for the first time. You have to know the difference, because if you don't know the difference, you'll spend a lot of time going for right now business, but not building your pipeline so that eventually you can start to have a business that affords you the luxury of actual time. So let's just get very clear. Short-term prospecting is what gets you paid in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. These are direct activities that generate appointments, usually for buyers and sellers, sometimes investors, but they ultimately lead to closings quickly. Long-term prospecting is more about relationship building. It's more about branding and value creation. It's about creating a pipeline that pays you dividends for 6, 12, 24 months, sometimes 5 years from now on autopilot. But be very clear, you need both and they both serve different purposes. Here's a truth that many people don't consider. Your short-term prospecting is what pays your bills. Your long-term prospecting is what builds your business success. What I learned when I first started out is you don't have the luxury of choosing one over the other, especially if you're in your first few years and trying to build momentum. But if you only chase business for today, you'll build a business that's always chasing, a business that's always active and reactive almost to the market. But if you understand that I'm going to start by chasing, but I'm going to on the back end build, plant seeds, water, create relationships, a database, etc. And I'm going to wait for those to grow long term, then you will be covered both now and in the future. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to balance both, but also explain both so that you're working smart for your right now business, as well as setting up your business for the future. So let's talk about the first one, short-term prospecting. Short-term prospecting, I want you to think about this as your money-making activities. It's action-based activities that get you paid now. It's calling your leads. It's knocking on doors. It's hosting open houses. It's following up with people you met last week. It's reaching out to expired and for sale by owners, asking them what they want to do now. Here's the thing. It's uncomfortable, but it works. It's direct. It creates momentum. And whether you're new or rebuilding, this becomes your survival strategy because this is how you eat, period. This is what every new agent must do to break into the business. I used to wonder why when you started real estate, they tell you to cold call, cold call, cold call. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired of cold calling. I don't want to cold call. I've learned to love it, however. But the reason why they do that is because that's going to get you into the business the fastest. The people that are expired have already been listed. They've already proven that they would pay commission. That is a check that's just waiting for you to claim it. The people that are for sale by owner are already listed. They just don't have agent support. That is a great way to start getting your right now business. What that's going to do is fund you now so that you have the capacity to sit down and build later. It's going to be hard to build, very much so, if you don't have any money. So on my team, I tell people we're going to spend the first 90 days building your lead gen platform. We're going to spend the first 90 days going after direct right now business. Why? Because you got bills, you need money. But after 90 days, we want to start to pay attention to the things that we can set up automate, systematize, so that as you begin to work the right now business, you can start to work the back end long-term prospecting and work yourself out of this short-term prospecting. By year 3, you should have so much long-term stuff set up and going that you should be able to cut your lead generation time in half. And most of your time now should be spent building relationships, because that's what long-term prospecting is. So I just described to you what short-term prospecting is. Let's talk about long-term prospecting. Long-term prospecting is your relationship strategy. This is sending monthly value emails to your database, which means you got to build them. Creating content that teaches, informs, inspires, converts. Hosting buyer seller seminars, attending local networking events, being visible in your community, sending handwritten notes and holiday gifts in the mail. The reason why this is long-term is because you're not going to see immediate results on this. I have a client that I nurtured for 2 years. I called her every month for 2 years. When I got in touch with her, I ended up having 14 transactions from that first conversation with her. She bought, she sold, her family members bought and sold. She bought an investment property. She referred me to coworkers. I made $192,000 from the 14 transactions that I got from connecting with her. So you have to understand, it took me 2 years to do that, but it was consistent follow up. Now, while I was building the long-term follow-up, I was still picking up the phone every day calling for the short-term business. She started as a short-term expired call. But over time, because I continued to nurture her, she became a long-term prospect. At the end of 2 years is when I made my first conversion with her. This is super important because your long-term prospecting strategy is not going to give you immediate results, but over time, they will start calling you. Why? Because you've built trust. When I went to list her house, I didn't even do a formal listing presentation because she already knew my character and how I ran my business just based on how much I contacted her. So this is how you go from hustle to CEO. And let me just be very clear. When you're starting a business, you're going to build it on sweat equity, but you don't want to maintain that. You're going to burn out over time. And here's the thing, you can't start a business with long-term strategy because it's going to require money. This is why you got to get the short-term piece right, so you have the money to fund things like I use Flowdesk, I use ClickUp. Those things have monthly subscriptions that if you don't have money in the bank, it's going to be hard to continue funding them. This is why you got to really learn how to marry the two. The short-term prospecting keeps you in business. Long-term prospecting builds the kind of business you don't need a vacation from. A business that funds your life. So here's the challenge. This is the challenge that I want to give you. Audit your calendar. Don't just put lead generation from 9 to 12. Put which block you're functioning in. So for me, I spend the first hour on new short-term prospecting. I spend the last hour on long-term prospecting. That's building funnels, content, creating seminars. That middle hour is follow-up to nurture the long-term prospect. I am so glad that I built my business like this, because here's the thing. When this is done right, your future self will thank you for it, because you will be able to put things on autopilot in your business and actually take a vacation without having to answer your phone. And I know for a lot of realtors that seems foreign, but you deserve a business that you can walk away from and spend time with your family that is uninterrupted, and spend time giving back to yourself. We got into this business for time freedom. And I see so many agents sacrificing time in order to make money because they refuse to build. This takes time, but it is something that I can help with. I help people build these systems every day, and I love it. If you need help, I'm going to ask you to reach out to me. Our blueprint program is all about building these back-end systems and having the support with you while you're building them. It is phenomenal to see agents when they have built this, how they can walk away. I have an agent on my team, Tina. She's on vacation all the time and still taking listings all the time. Why? Because she built a business she didn't need a vacation from. So if this video resonates with you, I'm going to ask you to audit your calendar. I'm going to ask you to spend time building a business while you're prospecting for right now business, understanding that balancing both equally, short-term and long-term prospecting is going to be the key to being the CEO of your business.